Have you ever felt it? The strange, haunting echo in your life? The feeling that you are living the same story over and over again, just with a different person playing the opposite role? Have you ever loved with all your soul, only to find yourself shattered in the exact same way you were before? If you have felt this invisible pattern, this ghost in your reality, know that you are not going mad, and you are certainly not alone. This is a sign of your awakening. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you feel a resonance, a stirring within your spirit. What you are sensing is not a flaw in your character. It is the vibration of an ancient, powerful script written into the very fabric of your soul, a divine code that has been directing your life from the shadows. Subscribe now and let us walk this path of discovery together. For today, we bring these hidden puppeteers into the light. The great spiritual cartographer, Carl Jung, gave us a profound key, a sacred quote that unlocks this entire mystery. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Most men live their entire lives completely unaware of the immense chemical reactions happening within them. They believe their choices are their own, that their attractions are born of simple preference, and their heartbreaks are just cruel twists of fate. But beneath every decision, every chase, every tear shed in the dead of night, there is an unseen force, a divine intelligence orchestrating the grand play. Jung called these forces archetypes, primal, universal blueprints of energy that exist within the collective soul of humanity. These are not mere psychological concepts. They are living frequencies, ancient patterns of the feminine psyche that dictate with absolute precision how a woman thinks, how she loves, how she creates, and how she destroys. By the time our journey today concludes, you will see these patterns with blinding clarity. You will finally understand the magnetic pull towards certain women, the true reason they leave, and the gnawing emptiness you feel even when you believe you have won the game. This is not just a lesson in psychology. This is the raw, unflinching truth about the divine feminine nature, a truth pulled directly from the deepest wells of the collective unconscious. Prepare your soul, for what you are about to learn will change the very frequency of your reality forever. Carl Jung, in his profound wisdom, understood a sacred truth that most men will never grasp in 1,000 lifetimes. The very first woman who shaped your destiny, who imprinted her energy onto your soul, was not your first love, not your high school sweetheart, and not your wife. It was your mother. The energetic signature she left upon your soul in those formative years is not just a memory. It is a living, breathing blueprint that dictates everything that follows. Let this sink into your core. Here is the unvarnished, brutal truth of this spiritual law. If the frequency of your mother's love was nurturing, warm, and unconditional, you will spend your life chasing comfort, seeking a safe harbor, often mistaking complacency for peace. You will be drawn to women who offer sanctuary, but you may find yourself suffocating in the safety you so desperately craved, your own growth stunted. If your mother was distant, emotionally unavailable, a ghost in your own home, you will become a hunter of the unattainable. You will obsess over women who keep you at arm's length, who never fully give themselves to you. The chase itself will become your addiction, and you will find a strange, painful comfort in the familiar ache of unrequited love, because your soul was programmed to believe that love is something you must earn but can never truly possess. And if she was controlling, if her love was a cage disguised as protection, you will forever confuse the chaotic frequency of anxiety with the sacred vibration of attraction. You will be drawn to drama, to turmoil, to women who seek to possess and manage you, because the storm feels more like home than the quiet peace of a healthy bond. This, my friend, is what Jung called the mother complex. It is not just a psychological tic, it is a profound spiritual wound, a tear in your energetic field that you disguise as desire. You walk through the world believing you are choosing your partners. You are not. You are simply reenacting a sacred childhood script, a play written long before you had a conscious voice to speak your own lines. Have you ever wondered why you keep falling for the same type of woman, a woman who inevitably leads you to the same heartbreak, the same desolate end? That is not a coincidence. That is a spiritual possession. The archetype has you. You are its vessel, playing out its drama until you awaken. But the mother archetype, as powerful as she is only the beginning of this labyrinth. Jung uncovered something even deeper, a force more subtle, yet infinitely more powerful, the anima. The anima is the unconscious, divine, feminine force that resides within the soul of every single man. She is the ethereal woman in your dreams, the muse of your highest aspirations, the silent whisper that tells you what true beauty is. She is the reason you daydream about the one, the perfect partner who will complete you, who will finally make you feel whole. She is the source of the overwhelming ecstasy of new love, and she is the reason heartbreak feels like a literal death, like a piece of your very soul has been ripped from your body. The danger lies not in the anima herself, but in your ignorance of her. When you are unconscious of this inner force, you cannot help but project her onto the women you meet in the world. The women you fall for are often not real to you. They become blank screens, empty vessels upon which you paint the face of your own inner goddess, your anima. You fall in love not with the woman, but with the projection of your own soul. And here is the shock that will break the chains. The women you chase are not real. They are phantoms, reflections of your own inner feminine. They are projections, beautiful mirages painted onto a blank screen by your anima's desperate fantasy. The more mysterious she seems, the more emotionally distant, the more her presence brings you pain, the harder you will chase her. Why does this happen? Because your anima, your soul's deep yearning, does not seek simple happiness. She seeks completion. She seeks the healing of that original wound, and she will burn your entire life to the ground to get it. Jung issued a dire warning that echoes through eternity. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This is your fate, repeating itself endlessly. Most men never awaken from this slumber. They simply keep bleeding for ghosts, pouring their life force into illusions, wondering why they always end up alone and empty. Now, we enter the most perilous part of the journey, for these archetypes are not just inside of you, they are living, breathing energies inside of her. And the one archetype that has come to dominate our modern culture, the one that is being amplified by every screen and every social media feed, it is the femme fatale, the siren, the destroyer. She is the woman who does not desire love. She craves power. She is the embodiment of an ancient, predatory, feminine energy. Look around you. Our entire social media landscape has become a femme fatale training ground. It is a vast digital academy teaching women how to weaponize mystery, how to trade the sacred act of intimacy for the fleeting currency of influence, and how to transform the raw, masculine desire for connection into a tool for validation and control. Jung saw this coming a century ago. He wrote, "Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, their love is lacking. Our world is drowning in the will to power, and true, divine love is becoming a forgotten language." Most men are completely blind to this. You see her attention, and you think it is real affection. You see her manufactured vulnerability, and you mistake it for genuine trust. You do not realize that she is not playing the game with you. To her, she is the game, and you are just another player to be conquered. But even this is only the surface of the abyss, because now we must go deeper into the realm of the shadow archetypes, the dark, repressed energies that even women themselves do not realize control them. These are the forces that explain the inexplicable why she left without a word, why she came back as if nothing happened, and why, in the end, none of it was ever truly about you. What comes next is the moment of truth, the point where most men finally see the strings that have been controlling their entire existence. We now descend into the shadowlands of the psyche to confront the forces that operate in the dark. This is where we explore why women, at times, seem incapable of controlling their own dark side. You have felt this before, haven't you? The sudden, chilling whiplash. One moment, she is all warmth, all love. She is yours completely. The next, a switch flips. She becomes cold, distant, a stranger wearing a familiar face, gone. You rack your brain, trying to understand what you did wrong, What changed? You tell yourself it must have been her choice, a conscious decision. You are wrong. Jung uncovered a truth that is terrifying to both men and women, a truth most will never face. Beneath the persona she presents to the world, beneath the logic and the carefully constructed identity, there lurks the shadow. The shadow is the repressed, denied, and often monstrous side of the feminine psyche. It is the part of her that holds all the rage, the jealousy, the bitterness, and the wounds she has never healed. And when this shadow erupts, no amount of love, no amount of loyalty, no amount of reason can stop it. This is not about blame. Remember the divine law. This is about biology, about the raw, untamed energy of the psyche. If you fail to understand this, you will forever mistake her primal chaos for calculated cruelty, when in reality, in those moments, she is just as helpless as you are. Every fairy tale you have ever heard contains this secret. The witch in the woods doesn't attack strangers. She preys on devotion. She feeds on the innocence of those who love her. Jung gave a name to this shadow archetype, the destructive mother. This is the part of a woman that secretly resents being needed, even as she consciously demands it. She will lure you in with the promise of safety, with the frequency of care and nurturing, only to punish you the very moment you become dependent on her. Does this sound familiar? It is the girlfriend who begs for your vulnerability, who pleads for you to open your heart, only to lose all respect for you the moment you show it. It is the wife who constantly complains that you are distant, yet recoils in disgust the moment you try to truly connect with her soul. It is the modern woman who preaches equality with her words, yet still expects you to lead, to provide, to be the unshakable rock, all while chipping away at your foundation. This is not mere hypocrisy. It is a spiritual possession by the shadow. The witch archetype hates weakness above all else, because weakness in another forces her into a role of strength she never consciously chose, and her retaliation is swift, brutal, and instinctive. Jung warned, "The brighter the light, the darker the shadow." The more a woman consciously identifies herself as loving, caring, and gentle, the more vicious and destructive her shadow becomes when it is triggered. But the labyrinth deepens. We must now turn the mirror inward. The most dangerous archetype of all is not the femme fatale, nor is it the destructive mother. The most dangerous archetype is the one that lives inside the woman who refuses to grow up. Jung called her the puer aeternus, the eternal girl. She is the woman trapped in the amber of adolescence, forever refusing the responsibilities of true adulthood. Jung saw her everywhere, and today, her frequency is epidemic. She is the 30-year-old with the soul of a teenager, flitting from one experience to the next, forever chasing novelty. She is the serial dater who drifts from man to man, always claiming she just hasn't found the right guy, never realizing the void is within her. She is the social media influencer, chasing an endless stream of drama and validation, her entire identity built on the shifting sands of external approval. Here is the brutal divine truth. A woman possessed by this archetype does not want a partner. She wants an audience. She will crave the feeling of stability, but she will sabotage it the moment it becomes real, because stability requires commitment, and commitment terrifies her. She will demand maturity from you, yet she will secretly despise any man who actually possesses it, because his maturity highlights her own lack thereof. She will preach empowerment, all while remaining an emotional infant, completely illiterate in the language of her own feelings. Why? Because genuine growth terrifies her. True responsibility suffocates her. And so, like a frustrated child, she destroys anything she cannot control. And this, right here, is where most men break. Because the cruelest trick of the feminine psyche isn't what it does to you. It's what it does to her. Jung called this phenomenon dissociation, the terrifying ability to act from the deepest, darkest parts of her shadow, and then to genuinely, with all her heart, believe that she didn't do it. She will shatter your world, leave you in a million pieces, and then look at you with tears in her eyes and truly believe that you are the one who hurt her. She will rewrite the entire history of your relationship in her mind and believe the new version with more conviction than you believe in the sunrise. She will crave love, but only for as long as it remains unstable, a drama to be played out. The moment it becomes a steady, reliable flame, she will be the one to pour water on it. This isn't conscious malice, it is spiritual self-preservation. The feminine mind, in its unawakened state, must believe in its own innocence, even as it destroys everything it touches. But here is the final shattering twist in this sacred maze. You, too, have a shadow, and until you turn and face it, you will keep attracting women who are destined to force you to. This is the juncture where most men quit the spiritual journey, because the next truth isn't about her anymore. It's about you. For your entire life, you have believed that women are the problem, the source of your pain, the reason for your suffering. But what if the real enemy, the true source of your torment, has been you this entire time? Jung uncovered an uncomfortable truth that few have the courage to face. Every man is haunted by the same inner demons. They just wear different faces. These are the shadow archetypes of the masculine psyche. The overbearing mother you resent? She didn't create your desires. She merely shaped them, activating a pattern that was already dormant within you. The femme fatale who destroyed you? She didn't invent your hunger. She mirrored it, showing you the gaping void in your own soul. The good girl who betrayed you? She didn't create your naivety. She exposed it, holding up a mirror to the part of you that refuses to see the world as it is. This journey is not about blame. It is about awakening. Because until you face the darkness within your own soul, you will keep repeating the same cycles, drawing the same pain to you like a magnet, always thinking that this time, this woman will be different. This time, you'll win. Only to end up broken, again and again, by forces you refuse to see. There is a reason you are drawn to chaos. There is a reason pain feels like passion. There is a reason you confuse drama for love. Jung called this shadow the wounded masculine, the part of you that secretly believes suffering is a sign of strength. You see this archetype in the nice guy, who secretly resents every woman who rejects him, his kindness a transaction designed to get what he wants. You see it in the red pill grifter, who preaches game and strategy but is incapable of sustaining a real, vulnerable relationship. You see it in the divorced man who blames his ex for everything, yet still compulsively stalks her social media, forever bound to the source of his pain. You chase unavailable women because subconsciously you do not believe you truly deserve love. You tolerate disrespect because deep down, you feel you are unworthy of loyalty. You sacrifice yourself for women who wouldn't cross the street for you, because martyrdom is the only way you know how to feel needed. This is not romance, it is self-sabotage. And the more you deny it, the more you refuse to look at it, the tighter the noose around your soul becomes. But the wounded king has a counterpart, a darker brother, the tyrant. This is the part of you that hates women even as you crave them. He is the shadow that lurks behind the wounded masculine's pain. This isn't about blaming the victim. It's about taking radical responsibility for your own inner world. The truth is, the wounded king and the tyrant are two sides of the same counterfeit coin. They are both born from the same unhealed wound, the same deep-seated belief that you are not enough. Jung warned us, the shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality. The man who will not face his own darkness does not become enlightened. He becomes bitter. And bitterness is the stench of a soul rotting from the inside. But here is the cruelest joke of all. Even when you win the game, even when you conquer the woman you were chasing, it does not fix you. You grind, you build, you achieve, you conquer. Yet the very moment you attain what you thought would finally fulfill you, the void inside you only grows wider, deeper, and darker. Why? Because you have been chasing the wrong thing all along. Jung called this the false herethoman who believes that external validation can heal internal brokenness. You think money will make her respect you. It won't. You think status will make her love you. It won't. You think sex will make you whole. It never, ever does. The real tragedy is this. The more you succeed in the external world without true self-awareness, the more hollow and meaningless your victories become. But there is hope. There is a way out of the maze. Because Jung's greatest revelation was not about the darkness itself, but about the brilliant, blinding light on the other side. This path is called integration. The integrated man is the one who has journeyed into his own underworld and returned, not broken, but whole. First, he stops projecting his anima onto women. He withdraws his energy from the outside world and finally sees the women in front of him as they are, not as characters in his fantasy. Second, he faces his shadow. He looks into the mirror and stops kicking the dog. He confronts the wounded boy and the raging tyrant within, not with judgment, but with understanding. He stops self-destructing in ways he doesn't understand. Third, he builds a life so deeply meaningful, so aligned with his true purpose, that female approval becomes a beautiful, optional complement to his life, not the oxygen he needs to breathe. This isn't about becoming invincible, it's about becoming real. But integration isn't the end of the journey, it is the beginning. Because now we must go beyond the realm of psychology, to a place where most men fail. They fail not because they are weak, but because they do not realize that the war was never about women at all. The final truth changes everything. It is the alchemy of masculinity. It is the sacred art of transmuting pain into power. You have followed this trail of breadcrumbs this far, journeying through the labyrinth of archetypes, confronting the shadows of your own psyche, and staring into the brutal truths of why you suffer. Now comes the most important question you will ever face. What will you do with this knowledge? Because here is the final, secret key that Jung himself discovered, perhaps too late. Understanding your demons is not enough. You must use them. This is not about fixing yourself. It is about something far more radical. It is about rebirthing yourself. The ancient alchemists were not chasing literal gold. That was a metaphor. They were coding a profound psychological and spiritual truth. Suffering is the raw material of transformation. Your heartbreaks, your betrayals, your darkest nights, these were never punishments. They were initiations. The mother who wounded you, she gave you the divine gift of resilience. The femme fatale who broke you, she taught you the priceless lesson of discernment. The loneliness that haunts you, it is carving out a sacred space within you for wisdom. Jung wrote, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain. The man who runs from his pain remains a boy forever. But the man who alchemizes it, who learns to use its fire not to burn himself but to forge his soul, he becomes something rare. He becomes a true adult." Here then is the fourfold path, Jung's sacred blueprint for masculine mastery. 1. Solitude. This is not isolation, but a deliberate, conscious separation from the herd. The modern world is designed to keep you distracted, addicted, and chasing cheap validation. Resist. 2. Shadow work. Every single day you must ask yourself, what am I refusing to see about myself? The parts of you that you deny are the parts that control you. The parts you face are the parts that become your power. 3. Creative destruction. You must burn the old versions of yourself that keep failing. The needy boyfriend, the approval seeker, the martyr. Let them die. 4. Sacred purpose. This is not a job or a hobby. It is a calling so compelling that women become a complement to your life, not the point of it. This isn't self-help, it is soulcraft. Here is the paradox that no one tells you. The more you need love, the less you are capable of receiving it. The more you transcend the need for it, the more you can truly give it and be open to its divine flow. Jung called this process individuation, the sacred process of becoming so whole that your relationships cease to be crutches and begin to be conscious choices. Think of the healthiest, most grounded man you know. The one with a quiet, unshakable confidence. The one who loves deeply but never desperately. That is not luck, that is work. The feminine archetypes, the shadows, the pain, they were never the enemy. They were messengers. Every betrayal was a divine signpost, showing you where you were naive. Every heartbreak was a sacred mirror, revealing where you were incomplete. Every obsession was pointing to the abandoned parts of yourself. Jung's greatest lesson is this: everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The boy clings to fairy tales. The addict chases highs. The coward stays bitter. But the Mantha, true, integrated man, he thanks his demons for their lessons. He bows to his past for its scars. Then he builds something that outlasts them all. This is your moment. The archetypes have spoken. Now, what will you become?